Do you know what have we got you? We got you jargons. Well, if a computer operator says, my coffee tray is not working, is he really talking about coffee tray? No, he is talking about disk drive. Well, that is how engineers speak. Trust you me, when you work in corporates, there would be certain words of the language that you would not know what do they stand for. But people would commonly use those terms. We have come up with few of those terms that we feel you must know, so that when you work in corporates, you understand what people are talking about. The first word we have here is trademark. Well, every person and every situation and every organization is known to behave in a particular way, in a very specific way. We call that way as a trademark way. For example, I may have some trademark style. Generally, we copy the trademark styles. Similarly, some companies also have a trademark way of working. Let's go to the next word. Boil the ocean. Well, somebody has worked for 2 hours or for 3 hours on a certain project, but the outcome after 3 hours is nothing. All has gone in vain. That means there was no productivity. Why? Because that man was only boiling the ocean. Let us talk about an IT department. In IT department, a person is working for 3 hours on certain project, and after 3 hours, he considers the work done to be nullified. Well, what did he do? He boiled the ocean. Go bananas. Sometimes while working, we go crazy. We break our boundaries. We cross our limits. And we want to do everything and anything to get that work done. We call that go crazy in normal language, and in corporate terminology, we can call it go bananas. Well, the next word is bonkers. A man who is not in his senses. Bonkers could be a word or a term used for any such man. Well, if you misbehave with your colleague can always call you, are you bonkers? Have you gone mad in your head? So if somebody calls you bonkers, well, that's not a compliment, but the person is saying that you have gone mad in your head. The next is from the horse's mouth. When somebody says from the horse's mouth, that means directly from the authentic source. Generally, we believe in gossiping. We also believe in grapevine communication. I tell you something, you tell this to other person, but in corporates, such communication is highly discouraged. So what kind of information should you only believe in? You should believe in information that comes directly from the horse's mouth. That means that comes directly from the very authentic source. On the next slide, we need to understand pull the bull by the horn. In Hindi, we always say, Billi ke gale mein ghanti kaun bandhega? Well, that's a work of danger. Nobody wants to take up such a dangerous task. When you want to convey to your manager that you want 2 days of leave, or that you will not be coming tomorrow, or that your work is not finished, then generally you do not want to give away these messages because you don't have that courage. So whenever you have that courage, what do we say? We say, who's going to pull the bull by the horns? The next is, well, if you have done the work and the work is ready, you say, this is it. So that is like a final statement of your work done. So you say, this is it. The next is low hanging fruit. Something that comes so easy. Something that comes very, very simply is considered a low hanging fruit. Into any kind of an organization, you always indulge yourself into couple tasks. Sometimes the tasks are very demanding. That means the tasks were very tough. On the contrary, there are even tasks that were quite easy. Well, if it is an easy task, then definitely you are talking about a low-hanging fruit. Bleeding edge. It is absolutely paramount, very important, that the organization that you work with, or even you and your station of your own work, must have a bleeding edge or a cutting edge from the competitor, from your colleague. You should always have an edge above. That means you should have a gap between you and your competitor. This gap means that you are trying to maintain a bleeding edge, a cutting edge, a huge gap. Pay through the nose. Don't you think that sometimes the money that you are spending is actually very tough on you? Why? Because you work very hard to earn that money. So whenever you are making payment from that hard-earned money, you say that I make the payment through my nose. That means I am spending my very hard-earned money. These days, we understand that the data that we use has come very cheap to us, very economic to us. But there was a time that for this data, we had to pay through our nose, because even for 100 mg or a small amount of data, we had to make huge payments. So that payment could be considered as you always paid through your nose before the advent of this 5G technology, or way before, when there was old kind of telephones. So let's get going. I am broke means I have no money. I am broke. So whenever you are spent with all the money that you carry, you call yourself, I am broke. It is what it is. Sometimes people urge you to come up with more innovative approaches. People also urge you to come up with something better. And you are kind of done. You're kind of submitted. You're kind of, I have tried all my level best, but I cannot do anything better than this. And at that time, the only words that you're able to say is, it is what it is. That means, jo hai wo yahi hai. You cannot change it. You cannot make it any better. This is what it is. And now, if a person says that nothing can be done, then what do you say? Okay, then let it be. So if you can't do anything, then I am also not ready to touch it. So what do you say? Let it be. I am not coming to you. You are not coming to me. What's it going to be then? Well, let it be. Nobody's going to go anywhere. Let it be. Let loose. Let loose is kind of you give space to somebody, or you want to explore more options. So let us say we are trying to learn English over here. So if you're trying to learn English and you want to speak very good English, then you should let yourself loose. That means you should break yourself free. You should not try to confine yourself in boundaries. You should not try to fix yourself in limitations. You should try to fly freely. You should let loose. And halfway through means that you have done majority of the work. It's just a little work left. Thank you very much. You have a fantastic remaining part of the day.